Lessons for Living, Chapter 8. Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. Several publications. Discover simple ways for choosing your best attitude, improving your self-esteem, creating motivation for change. Part 8, Chapter 1. Meditation. Meditation has always been at the heart of Indian tradition and Indian daily life. Thousands of are arranging special courses of meditation for their workers and highest executives. They have seen its immense beneficial effect on the individuals themselves, on their relations with others, and consequently on their productivity at work. They do not Prasana course spending 10 precious days learning to meditate. The human brain is the most marvelous thing in the whole of creation. Because of it, we are functioning simultaneously at various levels of the conscious and subconscious. At any given moment in time, it is receiving thousands of stimuli and different pieces of information from our five senses and all our internal and external organs. It is information reacting to all them in some way or another, most of which we are not consciously aware of. We can be fully aware of and think about and you cannot count money or do an addition of a series of numbers and at the same time listen carefully to someone. You cannot pay attention to the teacher and at the same time read a storybook or play with a companion. There are some things we learn so thoroughly that we can do them without consciously thinking about them. That is walking, driving a vehicle, knitting, etc. We can drive and talk at the same time. But even here, if a special situation arises on the road ahead of us or in our vehicle, our mind concentrates on that and cuts off the conversation and everything else. Our concentration is constantly shifting from one thing to the other. During the millions of years of evolution, the survival of the human being depended on his quick thinking more than on anything else. Physically, he was so weak and helpless in comparison to so many other animals. If he gave his attention for a considerable period of time exclusively to one thought, he could a wild animal or an enemy human being. Since man could think only of one thing at a time, it was important for him to be able to transfer his concentration from one thing to another very to such an extent that we now change the focus of our attention even several times a second. The cinema and television have pushed this further. It has become almost impossible for us to concentrate. Our attention span has become extremely short. Any frame in a film or on television does not last more than a second or two. Our thoughts have, even in the duration of those 2 seconds, at least it speaks for over 5 minutes. Our teacher loves us in the class if he is only lecturing and not making us do things. Continuous attention has become impossible. We do not feed from wild animals or from enemy humans, but the brain continues to function as it learned to do during the millions of years of evolution, switching from one thought to another incessantly. We are constantly bombarded by a lot of external stimuli. There is not a moment in our day or night unless we live in some extremely remote village. Cacophony of noise from the numerous machines around us and of heavy traffic on the roads nearby. We seldom have a sound sleep because there is light everywhere, even during the night. Our lives crowds of other people in small rooms or houses with little sunshine or ventilation. We spend most of our working hours sitting down with very little physical exercise. Our food is highly processed and totally different from how it is found in nature. We are in almost constant motion in very high speeds. We are breathing in air full of pollutions, drinking water containing poisons, eating food steeped in chemicals and living in surroundings has grown rapidly in the last few countries. We have not been able to achieve the same rate of growth in our mental and spiritual world. Hence, our mind, soul, and spirit are under continuous stress and diminishes our efficiency, weakens our health, and shortens our life. This is why multinational corporations have taken to meditation. Meditation is no longer only for sadhus, saints, monks, fakirs, and rishis. It is for everyone. In October 2005, the Assam Cricket Association asked the Vivekananda Kendra for a week-long meditation program for its Ranji Trophy players. Magnetic at Harvard in 2005 saw that Buddhists insist meditation increased the thinkness of important part of our brain. Breathing during meditation oxygenates our blood completely. It lowers our blood pressure, slows down our rate of breathing and our heartbeat. Meditation brings unity into our life. It calms us down. It transforms and awakens us. It brings about change through understanding, peace, and clarity of seeing. We begin to understand ourselves better, our mind, body, and character, and our way of seeing. We become learn to be simple. We get over all confusion and tension. Our habitual reactions are no longer the same. We learn to be at peace with ourselves. The choice we make in our life are to us. And confusion for human for a point at this environment. The The ideal time to meditate is the early morning, and the ideal place is the quietest spot you can find. It's best to find a guru who can teach you to meditate. In case you really cannot find one, here are two techniques of meditation. The first is using it. Practice. Take a comfortable position that you can keep for a long time without moving. Sit on a chair, squat on the floor, or even lie down on the floor. Three times. Start by filling your abdomen and then your lungs. Hold your breath for a moment, then let go of it, starting with your lungs and then your abdomen. After you have taken three deep breaths, start counting backwards in your mind from 50 down to 0. Concentrate now your attention on any single thought, the flame of a candle, your breath going in and out of your the thought. Try to hold on to this one single thought for as long as possible. It is quite impossible to do so to start with. Experts say that if you are able, after several weeks of practice, to think only one single thought, do not get discouraged when you find yourself thinking of other things. As soon as you realize that your concentration has shifted, return to the single thought you have chosen. If you feel that your mind is hopelessly roaming about, take another 3 deep breaths and count again from 50 down to 0. You may notice no difference in your lifestyle for a week or two, but you may be certain that you will begin to see change within yourself. At least 15 minutes of meditation daily. There is a second technique you can use. Sit down on the floor and make yourself as comfortable as you can be. If it prevents you from breathing freely. Concentrate on your feet and move your toes and feet a little. See how they feel. Relax them. Concentrate now on your legs. Relax them and let them lie touching the ground totally. The feeling of relaxation moves slowly upwards from your feet, through your legs, to your stomach, and then to the chest. Now also, the center of your body is relaxed. Delicate. Breathe calmly. At each breath, I feel more relaxed. Now, your neck and your face. Feel the muscles of your face go slack. They feel free. And 1. Let's go to the muscles of your forehead. Relax now your arms and hands. Let them become warm. They feel loose and high, loose and light. Breathe in and breathe out deeply. Relax and stretch out your body. Let the breath come in and go out like waves on the seashore. Free yourself. Feel yourself. You are breathing deeply and calmly. Energy comes in with the fresh air. You breathe out. Feel the breath as it comes in and goes out. Feel the tension go out and energy come in. Feel the energy flooding your body. Feel the breath reach up to your head. Breathe in and hold your breath for a moment, and then breathe out. Letting out all of your tension along with the air. Keep doing this as you breathe in. Fill yourself totally with energy. When you breathe out, let go of all physical and mental stress. Imagine that you are in the middle of nature. It is spring. You are on a meadow. You are looking at and enjoy the green scenery. You feel the pleasant warmth of the sun and feel the scent of green grass below you. Relax. Exercise 1. Answer the following questions. A. In what ways in our life far from stimuli from all around us? C. What could be a reason for our inability to concentrate on one thought for a long period of time? D. What did scientists at Harvard find about the effect of meditation? E. What are the benefits of meditation? F. Explain one technique of meditation. To discuss. Meditation is a waste of time and a sign of laziness. We would benefit more if we were to study something. Start meditating every day alone with your family or with your class. Something to think. Meditation puts me in touch with things that are superior to me. As a spirit, something to memorize. He who gives himself to vanity and does not give himself to meditation, forgetting the real aim of life and grasping at pleasure, will in time envy him who has exerted himself in meditation. Dhammapada. I know that reading is good, but better than reading is meditation. See how it will it. If I do not polish it is the same unless one brightens it with meditation daily. Chapter 2. Conservation. Only God is infinite. All material things are limited. We call all the things on earth that are useful for us our resources. There is a definite limit to the earth's resources. Human beings have lived on the earth for millions of years, but till recently we are not anxious about not having enough for anything. Today we have started worrying yeah. India for the water of the Kaveri. India and Bangladesh have difficulty sharing the water of the Ganges. Several areas of our vast land suffer from frequent droughts. People have to buy water by the bucket. India has 17% of the world's population, but only 2.4% of the Earth's land. If all our land were distributed equally among all the area cultivated land is reduced further, soil becomes salty after years of too much irrigation. Erosion and the construction of roads, houses, and for forests. Trees and plants in the forest form a vital element in the cycle that assures us an adequate supply of clean air. Forests cover all over the world and especially in our country is being reduced very fast. Trees are being cut down to clear the way for new farmlands to provide wood for houses and furniture and to be used as fuel. Thus, the supply of even the three most as history thinkers who were people for the control of society is not as unbelievable as it may. In the year 2000, arranged to transport water from some other districts. At one stage of people of this water-rich districts began to fear that they may themselves run short of water. They tried to stop the authorities from removing water from their area. Armed personnel I had to be deployed to ensure the smooth flow of water from one part of the state to another. If we continue to use petroleum, greatly. This is so for several reasons. Human population has grown rapidly in the last century. The amount of the Earth's resources that each person used during his lifetime has increased manifold. The machines that dig out the minerals and the factories that process them are immense in size. We have now become aware that there are limits to resources better and to reuse them whenever possible. This is especially important as regards those that are not renewable, such as petroleum and other minerals. Scientists are inventing new minerals as biodiversity from jatropha plants. We have to learn to manage all our sources more carefully. Rajasthan receives less rain than most other parts of India. Yet some areas of Rajasthan do not suffer from as severe water shortage as some of the rainous regions. People of Alwar district, for example, have learned water harvesting. They make storage tanks to collect roof water. They dig ponds and rivers. Water then has into the soil and reach the walls. reach the wells, they dig trenches on slopes to trap the water flowing down them. This that would otherwise be washed away by the rains. The winner of the Raman Magsaysay Award in 2001, Rajendra Singh, has been a pioneer of all this in the district of Alwar in Rajasthan. It was reported in June 2004 that rainwater harvesting was raising water levels in the wells of Delhi by as much as 5 meters in Basant Bihar and 10 meters in Rajendra Nagar. However, it is good to learn to conserve water to be, but we can do well and without wasting water. There is no like learn to turn off the tap after use at home, at school, and even in public places. We can ensure that sources of good water such as wells, streams, rivers, ponds, and lakes are not polluted by our wastes. We often leave fans or lights switched on in place where they are not needed. First of all, we have to pay for this useless waste of electricity. Secondly, have a limit. We will need to replace them sooner if leave them on electricity. Thirdly, enough of people. That is why power cuts. Produce this electricity. When we save electricity, we are saving these resources. It is good to learn that materials are used to make the things we use daily. Did you know, for instance, that most paper is made from bamboos and trees? The more paper we use or waste, the more trees are cut down somewhere on the earth. Newspapers and in fact almost any scrap of paper can be recycled, used again to produce fresh paper. If they are saved and pieces of cardboard, old clothes, and even rags can be used again to produce paper. Used but unbroken bottles can be reused repeatedly for strong things. Glass bottles, even when broken, can be crushed and you may have seen rag pickers collecting even empty footsteps tubes that contain some lead. In India, we still have people who go from door to door collecting all sorts of scrap. If we save up our used articles and sort them out according to the nature, to the materials they are made of, we can sell them. Some years ago, people thought that the used and throw culture was a great step forward. Produce as many things the just once and then throw away. Culture contains even clothes. The ideas were to save the time, work, and space needed to clean. Of progress is to use, repair, store, and reuse the same item repeatedly. This is the way to make the resources of the earth last as long as possible. Exercise. 1. Answer the following question. A. Is there reason to worry about use of the earth's resources? B. Is there real danger of even wars for the sake of water? C. What is meant harvesting to improve their supply of water? E. What effect does rainwater harvesting have in Delhi? F. What can government and scientists do to conserve the earth's resources? G. Is ordinary people do to conserve the earth's resources? To discuss. A. Should we worry about the welfare of future generations of human beings? Why or why not? B. We are not responsible for what happens to the earth after our death. Let the people of the future deal with it. C. The earth is a big place. What one individual like me does neither help it nor harms it very much. Say something to do. A scrap of paper in your school. D. Learn how various items of waste are separated according to their nature, collected by rag pickers and scrap dealers, and recycled to nature has no boundaries. What I do affects everything on earth. What any person in any part of the world does an effect on me, no matter how far the person is from me. 5. Something to memorize. Nothing is rich but the exhaustible wealth of nature. She shows us only surfaces, but she is a million fathoms deep. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nature encourages no loose patterns. No. Conservation means the wise use of what earth and its resources for the lasting good of man. Gifford Pinchot. As the soils are developed, human wealth, intelligence go with them. Louis Baumfield. Chapter 3. When opportunities come knocking. Sean F. Connery worked as a mikeman in 1944 when he was a teenager for $1 a week. He progressed to dairy transport workers and junior horseman before he joined the Royal Navy in 1948. He returned a year later to be horseman. Appeared in his first film and went on to become the famous Sean Connery, who acted as James Bond for a period of 10 years. To be happen to them. They dream of becoming famous, rich or powerful. Everything remains at the level of wishes and hopes, and when these are not fulfilled, they feel discouraged or disappointed. They are waiting for the perfect opportunity to come their way. Opportunities are there, but they are unable to see them and use them. What is an opportunity and when does it knock? Opportunity never knocks on anyone. I'm hoping that you will hear no knocking at all. Why? Because each one of us is an opportunity and we knock on the door leading to our destiny. Known as the greatest pessimist in English literature. He was so sorry for himself that on his birthday he feasted and wrote and wore a black suit as if someone had died. Harold Abbott was in despair because he had made a mess of the shop he owned. He was in heavy debt and ready to give up everything. He was on his way to the saw a man on the road sitting on a small wooden platform on which he had to push himself around using his hands because he had no legs. In a flash heard in a flash enough and more to be truly successful. He turned back towards home to fight his way to success. There is a vast undiscovered treasure within each of us. If we were to make a list of all our gifts, talents, and capacities, we could see how we are opportunities waiting to be used. We create opportunities. Francis Bacon said, "A wise man will make more opportunities than he finds." Dr. William Aston for inspiration wild animals to shoot. They go there, they are likely to find it. Inspiration is uncontrollable, but by increasing the number of ideas in our mind and by improving our capacity for observation. We recognize the opportunities that are around. There are more than enough of them for those who their eyes wide open. With their eyes wide open. If we keep ourselves open to the signs around us, we will recognize them and grab them. Our most important weapons are seldom what we have, but what we lack. Dr. Samuel Johnson suffered poverty and hunger for 20 years, yet he became the greatest writer of his time. From his own personal experience, he was able to say, "The habit of looking on the best side of every event is worth more than £1,000. We can make ourselves alive to every opportunity and adventure where others see none. Unafraid to challenge our fears and to seek new horizons. Unafraid to challenge even our everything that everyone thinks to be facts, but which we think could be different. Capable of rearranging our information, ideas, and resources in new ways that no one else has done before. Questionable past and our bad luck, and be happy about the glorious future that we shall create for ourselves. Johnny Bosco was an orphan. He was so poor he started attending school only at the age of 12. He worked part-time with a blacksmith, a tailor, a shoemaker, a carpenter, etc. To earn his way through school, what seemed like unfortunate bad luck became an advantage and an opportunity for him because in this way he learned several useful trades. Later, when he started, he was able to teach all these skills to poor young men who had no jobs because they knew nothing. He went on to become the famous Don Bosco, who founded a worldwide society that is still doing good all over the world even today. 120 years after his death, his obstacles gave rise to opportunities to pick up skills to give him a place in history. Look for opportunities and find. There are things we can do to read signs correctly and to open our life to opportunities. We are aware of and pay attention to persons, things and events around us. The discovery of coal in America was a total accident. A Pennsylvanian hunting in the mountains built his campfire on a ledge of black rock. He was amazed when the rock itself started burning. We remember that these clues and signs come in many forms. Some signs comes in dreams, others from the what people say, including chance remarks and comments, still others from events. There is no one sole sources. The most important thing is to recognize them as opportunities and use these signs that have the most meaning. When we do get a strong signal, we investigate it to make sure it is valid and useful. We do not act without thinking. We examine the study how we can use it to guide us. If we really see that a signal is useful, we are ready to respond to it. How to move to numerous doors are all open. We can look forward with optimism and move forward towards existing new opportunities. How do we do that? 1. Live in the present. The past is gone. The future is unknown. We can do nothing about the opportunities we missed in the past. We need not wait for the future. There are opportunities for us at any age. The present is real and our opportunities are now. There may be opportunities to learn something now, to do something different, visit a place, help someone, give a talk, participate in a competition, make a great friend, earn some money, make something different, etc. Tournament organized in your school is an opportunity for you. When you are asked to sing a song, perform a dance, deliver a speech, prepare a notice board, calendar a guest, write an article for the school magazine, play a match, be the class monitor or team captain, or 100 other things of a similar nature, they look like extra work that you would rather avoid. But they are golden opportunities coming your way. The library and reading room offer you possibilities that millions of children of your age lack. You are surrounded by all you would be too busy being bad, too busy being sad for what we do not have. We have abilities. We are good. We deserve success. We can be great as any great hero. All we need is courage, hard work, and optimism. Do not allow yourself to be discouraged by people who belittle you. Amitabh Bachchan was told not to try acting as a career because his voice was not suitable for an actor. When people keep telling you that you can't do a thing, you kind of like to try it, said Margaret T. Smith. That is the attitude to develop. 3. Try to set constructive goals. The world today needs quite purposeful and constructive people who move towards their goals without not unnecessarily loud show. Have your vision clear, feet planted on the ground, and your sleeves rolled up for hard work. Learn to use all your inner power to solve problems faster and reach your desired goal. Increase your creativity to make better decisions, and no matter what happens, go forward and success is yours. Be different from your companions. Do not copy or imitate anyone, whether a great heroine or a classmate. Be yourself. 4. Keep pause a while, but start again. We do not give up. We start again as soon as we can. Our past successes are constant reminders of our capabilities. We see them in our minds. Our imagination so that we live and breathe the successes of the past and project them into the present. 5. Learn by doing. We cannot do anything the second time first. There has to be a first time for every experience. We prepare ourselves to work hard when we try our anything for the first time. 6. Stand up to crisis. We do not allow any crisis to put us down. Crisis into a creative opportunity. In 1922, in the USA, farmers were killing pigs by the thousands and burying them because the cost of feeding them was higher than the price of pork. The pigs the farmers wanted to destroy. He even paid for some of them. Using his imagination and creativity, within a year, he made himself a rich man through his pigs. This capacity of his to see opportunities where others saw disaster stayed with him right up to his old age by when he was a multimillionaire. Exercise 1. Answer the following questions. A. What is meant by saying that we are opportunities? In what different ways can we find opportunities? C. What is the invisible and invincible weapon that could help us succeed? D. How did Johnny Bosco obstacles give rise to opportunities? E. What was Amitabh Bachchan told about becoming an actor? F. How can we make ourselves capable of making use of every opportunity? G. What can we do to read the signs of opportunity correctly? H. How can we move towards more opportunities? To discuss. Grabbing opportunities means denying them to others. That is a selfish thing to do. Say something to do. Do a brainstorming session as a class. Make a list of all possible things you could do to learn new things, to have new experience, to help others, or to have fun together. 4. Every time I miss I'm telling to be I could be. 5. Something to memorize. Opportunities never come to those who wait for them. They are found by those who go looking for them. The golden moment in the streams of life us and we see nothing but sand. The angels come to visit us and we only know them when they are gone. George Eliot. Ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. Jesus Christ. When one door to happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us. Chapter 6 Pulling Strength. Himmat Singh parked his car near a South Delhi market and went shopping. When he returned, very worried. He knew he had parked in a no parking zone. It was more likely that his car had been towed away than that it was stolen. He walked over to the nearest post of the traffic police and he was told where he had go to find his car. When Himmat reported at the right office, the one on duty asked for his driving license. His home address looked familiar. It was then that he learned that the officer fined him rupees 800 for leaving his car in a no parking zone. He paid the fine without any protest and received his car back. Mr. Doyle now the office on duty. Himmat himself told his mother about it. She felt ashamed that her own son had broken a rule that her department was trying to enforce, but she was proud that her subordinate officers had not let her son go free for an offense for which other people would be fined. She was even more proud that her son had not tried to use her name to avoid paying the fine. She was also happy that her subordinate officers had not wanted to harm and giving publicity to her. Such incidents are rare, but not unknown in all parts of the world. The daughter of George W. Bush Jr., the President of the United States, was fined and had to do community service. She had broken the law in her she was 21 years old. John, the 18-year-old son of Tony Blair, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, was arrested. He had been found with a few grams of marijuana ganja in his pocket. Generally, when children of famous, important or powerful people get into trouble, the name, position and power of their parents are used to hide the fact, excuse or ignore their mistakes and avoid the normal punishment. This is always wrong. Only immature children would expect to be given the respect their parents deserve only. Only unreasonable enemies would use the mistakes of children to humiliate their parents. The children of great people are not necessarily great, just like they are. Their parents earn their greatness through their own efforts. Knowledge, skills, and greatness are not passed from parents to children merely by birth. The children of doctors may become doctors, but they are not born doctors. The children of a doctor cannot expect to be treated as a doctor would be till they themselves become doctors. Only a very police officer would want his subordinates or the general public to treat his children as he himself is treated. A person who truly loves his children would want everyone to he has towards his children as yes, person's child may never become great if he is treated too early as though he were great. He may become great one day if he is treated like any other. Enough examples of this in our nation. Often the reason is that the people around them began to treat them too early in their life as though they were very special. They were perhaps overprotected and prevented from making mistakes. Perhaps no one had the courage to correct their mistakes, to scold them and guide them on their right path, on the right path. They were never punished for their failures. Maybe they were protected from the negative consequences of their actions. Also, the person have done everything for themselves. Princess Harry and William of the UK joined the British Army and went through all the tough training given to cadets, even being shouted in June 2005. Harry received a roasting because he continued sitting on a wall instead of standing up and shouting when a senior officer walked by. All children, even those of great parents, have to learn the rules of good conduct. All children, even those of the best parents, will make mistakes. They need to be corrected, advised, and taught. They have to face the consequences of their own actions. Respect is earned, not inherited. Ours is a democratic country. A democracy, the same laws are applied in the same way to all people. There are no exceptions or special treatment for the children of officers. Even the officers themselves have to obey the same rules unless the law and in particular positions because of very special reasons. It is wrong for children to expect to be treated specially because their parents are rich, clever, or powerful. Exercise. What was the consequences of Himmat's mistake? How do people sometimes misuse the position of their parents to get themselves out of trouble? See, how should we treat the children of important, great, or powerful people? D. Children of great are very different from those of poor ones. E. Why do the children of great people sometimes not become great? F. How are the laws in a democratic country applied? G. Can greatness be inherited? To discuss. Children of great high should receive special treatment at school. 3. Something to do. A. Find out all you can about the work of your parents. Ask them how they happened to be doing what they are doing. B. Tell the whole class what work your parents do and what they did to get this work. C. Tell the class about a mistake you made at home and what consequences you faced. So, something to think about. In what way do I want people to treat me? Do I expect to be treated differently because of the of all vanities, the vanity of high birth is the greatest. True nobility is derived from virtue, not from birth. Barton. I have loved accident of birth, the standard of their merit. Mrs. Hale. Those who have nothing else to recommend them to the respect of
others, but only their blood, cry it up at a great rate, and have their mouths perpetually full of it. Carry on. Chapter 7. My culture. Study this list. And material prosperity, good infrastructure, roads, electricity supply, water supply, telecommunications, etc. Many people confuse these concepts and facts. They think that a warrior nation is highly conservative. This is a mistake. It is certainly possible for several of the elements in the above list to go together to create a lively, great nation. But it would be a mistake to equate all these concepts as though they all mean are same thing. There are Indians who are absent of their country because we have not yet put a man on the moon. We do not have intercontinental ballistic missiles and could strike at any nation in any part of the globe. Many of our villagers do not have good roads, any electricity or water supply. There are many poor people, and hence they conclude that culture is superior to us. Technological progress can certainly promote the creation of cultural wealth when only a small percentage of the total population is capable of supplying the basic necessities for the entire community, such as food, shelter, and clothing. Many others are left free or create things of beauty: music, dance, painting, sculpture, architecture, poetry, drama, literature, philosophy, theology, etc. But a product of high technology may not necessarily be a thing of beauty. Of evidence. There is beauty in simplicity. There is sophistication in strength of fairness, strength forwardness. There is culture in closeness of for a meeting. One of the local participants invited him home one evening. Paul started out by telling his host, "Please excuse me, I belong to an uncultured and uncivilized tribe. Correct me if I make any mistakes." We should not feel superior to anyone else, thinking that our culture is greater than his people's. Nor should we feel inferior to others, thinking that our culture is poor or we are uncivilized. It is not possible to compare cultures and say which is then and different and even unique. One culture may have developed a lot of literature, another may have a wide variety of beautiful dances, another has beautiful architecture to boast of. A fourth may have a beauty of behavior, says Tagore. A civilized people have civilized behavior. They do not spit or litter in public places. They say sorry or thank you according to need. They leave public toilets clean after they use them. They do not throw garbage on the roadside outside their home. They respect the poor, the aged, and the handicapped. They are polite to everyone. They share their wealth with the needy. They appreciate beauty and care for their heritage. They are not noisy and boisterous. Respect others. A truly civilized person is not one who is the best dressed or the richest, but one who makes others feel civilized and important. says Barkha Amonkar. Many people consider our is a false notion. Our tribes may not be able to boast of ancient monumental architecture or not a rich body of written literature, but their folklore, music and dances are extremely rich. Their social system is proof of very high level of true culture, true civilization. Some important elements of the culture of tribals are their administrative system led by a king yet highly democratic, extremely moral awareness of their social obligations, and yet a very high esteem for the individual and his rights, social equality among all the members of the tribe with no trust of caste system, economic equality among all. There is no vast gap between the rich and the poor among tribals, the respect of women in their society, etc. All this points to a highly civilized society. What is unfortunate is that non-tribals and the younger generation of the tribals themselves are mostly unaware of these elements of the rich tribal culture. A lot of comparisons are made between people on the basis of their food habits. There are many prejudices between people because of their things they eat and drink, the way they cook their food, and the way they process food material for preserving it or storing it. Reminded to people that as regards food. 1. Food is anything that contains one or more of the elements needed for our nourishment and health, namely carbohydrates, protein, fats, minerals, and vitamins. To our ripe old age, the food we will enjoy the most is the food we got used as a children. We will find no dish as tasty as our mother used to prepare it. We imagine that everyone would enjoy eating what we ourselves find tasty, but this is not so. A taste is not universal. What one person or community enjoys because they got used to it in their childhood is not tasty for another person or it is that someone else is eating with great pleasure. Perhaps milk is the only thing that all people everywhere enjoy precisely because all of us have been fed on milk in our childhood. Whatever someone is eating and whether the preparation of the food is hygienic or not, it can generally be taken for granted that the preparation of all traditional dishes of all peoples is hygienic. If it were not, the community would have realized it over and decades and centuries and made appreciate change in their food habits. It may, of course, happen then that we get a stomach upset when we eat a storage dish for the first time, but this in that our stomach is not accustomed to that particular food or taste. We may or may not like the smell of the taste of the food that other people eat, but we cannot feel ourselves we prepare them for the table. This reasoning is applicable to many other aspects of culture. The liking of people cannot be compared for superiority or inferiority. They can be compared for similarities and differences. We cannot label culture superior or inferior. All cultures are different and unique. I should proud of my culture. I learn to respect the culture of others. In a West country like ours, we can learn a lot by studying the culture of other countries around us. We can learn our prosperity and technology the same as the can we culture as superior or inferior? Superior and inferior? Why or why not? B. What are some of the signs of the civilized people? B. List some of the great elements in the culture of our tribal peoples. F. What should we keep in mind about the food habits of people? G. What should our attitude be towards other cultures? 2. Discuss. Our culture is perfect in every sense and it is better than all others. We have something to do. Let the students individually or in groups prepare a presentation of one or more of the best elements in their and share it in the class. 4. Something about everyone culture. I can profit by learning about other cultures and even adapting some of their best elements. 5. Something to memorize. Culture is the widening of the mind and the spirit. Jawaharlal Nehru. All sunshine makes the desert. Arab proverb. No culture can live. No culture can live if it attempts to be exclusive. Mahatma Gandhi. Do thyself, God, taste care. They are different places. Whom shall I call inferior since all have the same master? Saran ki var mohalla. The most civilized people are as near to barbarism nations like Naples have only a superficial brilliance. Rivero Ayu. Chapter 8. Religion. All people in all places from the beginning of the human race believed that there were forces within and around them and that were superior to them. They could not understand the many things they saw happening. They tried to find a rational explanation for everything. The starting point of religion. If to live on forever, that is for there is a part of us, the more important part that lies on after we die. We call this part our soul. The expectation of a life or our soul after the death of our body is another source of religion. Every human being has the desire to be a good person and to be happy. In the course of our life, we realize that the best people are not always the most prosperous. The wicked are often the seem to be the happiest. Of justice makes us feel that this is wrong. We want the good to be rewarded and the bad to be punished. We do not often see this happen in real life. Hence, we know that there must be a life after death when Those who have high hour, they are reward and be happy, and the wicked will be given their just punishment. This is a third starting point of religion. A survey by New Economics Foundation found that the people of the developing nation of Vanuatu in the Pacific are the happiest in the world. Indians are far happier than the Americans. This is perhaps linked to the fact that 87% of Indians consider themselves religious. Match search for happiness echo that there is a limit to what the things of the world can offer him. The longing of man's heart can only be fulfilled through something more than what he sees around him. All people with the power an end. Nothing can come into existence by itself. There has to be some being superior to all that we see around us, who never had a beginning, who will never have an end, and who brought this universe into existence, who we owe our respect and reverence to this being whom we call God. Religion forms an essential element in the man. People have been trying since time immemorial. It is that people living in different places came up with different explanations. Based on these explanations, they also came up with suitable ceremonies and rituals for various occasions and events in life. They used it throughout history. Charismatic people have appeared from time to time. They were highly intelligent people with a magnetic personality. They were holy, spiritual, powerful, and had a great capacity to communicate. They gave thought to the problems of human existence. They developed explanation for most mysteries of life. They taught this to the people around them. Some of them had or claimed to have had prophecy, etc. Healing prophecy, or powerful of healing prophecy, etc. They were leaders, and they succeeded to convince a number of people of the superiority of their explanation to those if we new set of explanation was very different from the earlier ones, and if it owned a large number of followers, it becomes a new religion. If the new set of beliefs were only partially different from the earlier ones, and if there were only a small number of followers, it becomes a sect within the existing religions. We thus see in the world today several religions and a number of sects. What is important for us to remember when discussing these matters is that each religion is a set of beliefs that try to explain the phenomena of our life which do not have a scientific, rational explanation. Most of each religion claim to have the right. A religion, by its very definition, is a set of beliefs, not merely a body of knowledge. If religious teachings were scientifically proved and perfectly rational knowledge, they would be considered a science, not a faith. I do not need, for example, to believe that I exist. I know that I exist, but I believe that I shall continue to exist in some manner after I die. I need to believe this because I do not know this. I can only say that logically my life and all that have no meaning unless I shall continue to exist in some manner. So I must continue to exist. This cannot be scientifically proved, so I believe this. To believe means to accept something as more rational or less so, but all beliefs are beyond the rational in some way or another. What seems very rational to one person may appear very irrational to another. One man's vision are another man's dreams. One man's miracle is another man's hallucination. It is impossible to compare religions and separate the one which is most rational or superior from the rest. What matters is that the belief and practice and live in harmony among themselves and with others. We should not have false ideas of what makes a religion great. A greater number of followers, more believers in position of power, more worldly. One religion being more right than others. It is good and perhaps even necessary for us to have a strong faith, to believe firmly in the teachings of our faith and to live by them. If we have no belief in God and His teachings, we might turn to live by the law of the jungle. Might is right. Religion makes us think of what is morally right. It makes us take care of the weak, widows, orphans, and the handicaps. One can live in peace and without fear of those stronger. And it is equally important and necessary to respect the rights of other people. These are valid attempts by human beings to live good lives, but by giving due respect to the supernatural elements in our life. All religious teachers, all religions deserve our respect. All places of worship deserve our respect. All prayers, rituals, and practices deserve our respect. All followers of all faiths deserve our respect. A second element to be remembered in this connection is that all one teaching in common, respect for other human beings. All religions teach us to treat even stronger, even stranger, even followers of other faiths with love, respect, and hospitality. No religion towards others who is little different from us. We are all children of the same family. We are all brothers and sisters. We may have different faiths. We may use a different name for God. We may think differently, but in all our different ways, we are all trying to be happy, and make others happy too. Exercise 1. Answer the following questions. A. Explain one possible starting point of religion. Justice in all. Religion. Explain this. C. How does a new religion start? D. What is the difference between knowledge and belief? E. Can we be certain which religion is perfect? F. One thing that all religions teach. To discuss. True love of God cannot go along with the hatred of man of another human beings. something to do. Let the followers of various religions in your class explain the most important beliefs in their faith. For something to think about. I believe in my religion strongly. I want to be able to live according to my religion. All other have the same right as I do. Something to memorize. We are all taxed or credit with the beliefs of our tribes. Oliver Hazwell Holmes. Many have quarreled about religion and never practiced it. Benjamin Franklin. Religion is a candle color, but the candle is always there. Muhammad Nabi. All religions must be tolerated, for every man must get to heaven in his own way. Frederick the Great. Purify your heart and cease to kill. That is religion. The Buddha. Who is more unjust than who prohibits the temples of God, that his name should be remembered therein? Makes haste to destroy them. Quran 2. Chapter 9. Beware of the black cat. If a black cat crosses your path, stop. Wait till someone else pass ahead of you, and then only should you continue. If you are the first one to cross the black cat's trail. If you are looking for the house and someone calls you back for something, you had better keep up your program for the day. If you go ahead with it, you will only fail. If you hear a dog whinnying, get ready to start mouthing because someone close to you is going to die. If an owl lies somewhere near your house, block your ears. If you hear the hooting of an owl, someone will fall sick. I wonder whether you believe any of these things. What other beliefs of the nature do you have? Superstitions. A superstition is something we accept as true without any rational basis of this belief, which results in fear in the believer and does harm to him and to others. Superstitions have nothing to do with religion. Religious beliefs free us from fear. They remove our worries and anxieties. They give us confidence in ourselves and in life. They support us in our struggle against the forces of evil. They urge us on and encourage us to do good deeds for ourselves and for others. They bring us peace and happiness. Superstitions do exactly the opposite. They paralyze out of fear. They paralyze us out of fear. They prevent us from doing what we ought to do and want to do. They block our growth and development. They make us do things that do harm to ourselves and to others. A 28-year-old woman was beaten and stabbed to death by her neighbors at Kondali in East Delhi. They even burnt her bed. They were accusing her of being possessed by an evil spirit. A 60-year-old woman accused of indulging in witchcraft was beaten up and made to walk naked through the village by the people of Lakkara in Pingeshwar. Roots of superstitions. It is believed that superstitions. In Europe, the last incident of the burning of the witch took place in Switzerland in 1782. Are not the uneducated the victims of such beliefs more than anyone else? who ought to know better make themselves slaves of superstitious fears. The English football captain David Beckham always touched the grass in the center circle before kick-off. Julia Roberts always lies on her back while being made up on a film set. Tiger Woods, the world's most famous golfer, has worn something red on the final day of a tournament ever since he was 8. Sophia color purple is evil and brings bad luck, which is why she refuses to touch the John Borg, legend, was winning at Wimbledon. In Europe, there is the strong belief that 13 is an unlucky number. If the 13th of the month falls on a Friday, it is an exceptionally unlucky day. In June 2004, the German football team refused to stay on the 13th floor of the five-star Corinthia Alpha Hotel at Lisbon and had to be accommodated on the floor. In fact, many hotels have no room number 13 and no floor number 13. It is not the ignorant alone who have superstitions. This is so because most of these beliefs are passed on from one generation to the next. The elders influences our beliefs and behavior whether we are aware of it or not. Superstitions can harm us. Superstitions make us afraid. These fears do serious harm to us by limiting our possibilities for growth. They some excellent opportunities that come our way. Some people believe that starting out on a journey on a Saturday is bad luck. So they miss some interviews even when they could almost certainly land some very good jobs. The people of Randikarna in Orissa do not clip their nails. One lady has not done so in the last 10 years because someone told them that this protects them from a certain disease. Belief in witches is exceptionally high in Tripura. Even a member of the state assembly supports these superstitions. The rich and the powerful use this fear to kill of those they do not like. P.J. Joseph film Mathia, the first ever full-length story film in Kokbok, the local language, to educate the public of this evil superstition. At Simbhaoli, near Delhi, a 17-year-old baby, Bolu, was allegedly sacrificed by a childless couple because someone had told them that this was the only way they would be able to have a child of their own. Read the paper and you will come across instances of this type somewhere in India at least once a month. Manipulation of others through superstition. And take advantage of Others use the to do a cannot be used and pursued it. He was terrorized every evening by the fear of the monkey man. No, no concrete, reliable proof was ever found of anything supernatural in what was taking place, but there was great panic and some people made personal gains by frightening others. Some people try to use the superstitious beliefs of others to hide their own weakness. When they fail an examination or an interview or do not come up to the mark of own inability, laziness, or care on them. As we saw above, superstitions are handed down from generation to generation. People accept them. Some are based on coincidence. Coincidence. A family had an accident within 2 months of buying a computer. The mother died in the accident. The children are now convinced that she died because they had bought the computer. They say another uncle of theirs died within 2 months after he bought a computer. When you point out of them that lots of Indian families have brought computers this year and surely not all of them had a death within 2 months. They say, perhaps our family. This is the nature of superstitions. It is of no use to argue with someone who has it. That he only coincidences cannot shake such blind faith. Remedies. Certainly, ignorance and lack of a scientific training lead to superstitions. We should study the reasons for our own practices. If we analyze the good customs in our society, we discover that there are genuine reasons behind them. Instead, there is nothing rational to support our superstitious beliefs. Extrasensory perspiration, etc. We human beings have many powers, for some of which we do not yet have a scientific explanation. But if we use our common sense, we can certainly distinguish that harm us. Confidence. We accept that there are things beyond our understanding. Many of our religious beliefs cannot be rationally explained. That is why we call them belief and not knowledge. But these beliefs help us, as we said above. They liberate us. They strengthen us in our struggles in life. They make life easier and more pleasant. The greatest weapon against superstition is confidence. Confidence of ourselves and above all in God. Bad luck can stop us if we have our goals clear and we are clear to help yourself. He loves us and he wants our good. The superstition you from all evil. Exercise. 1. Answer the following questions. A. Give 3 examples of superstitious beliefs. superstitious belief. B. How are superstitions and religions different? C. What are the root of superstition? D. What do superstitions harm us and others? E. How do superstitions originate? F. Suggest some remedies. 2. Identify the most common superstition among the students in your class. Discuss what could be the origin of the false belief. 3. Something to do. Form smaller group. Let each group choose one superstition and prepare a little script. Decide by living according to that belief. 4. Something to think about. Irrational fears could paralyze me and prevent me from doing all I can do and being all I can be. 5. Something to memorize. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. William Shakespeare. Religion worships God, while superstitions prefer that worship. Seneca. Superstition is but the fear of belief. Superstition always inspires bitterness. Religion, grandeur of mind. Superstition only religion of which best souls are capable. Silence a man a fool. Chapter 3. Our architectural heritage. The Taj Mahal at Agra is described as the most extravagant monument to love. It has become the tourist emblem of India. It was built by Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal, who died in 1631. The work of the Taj Mahal began in the same year and it It is believed that a total of 20,000 people from India and Central Asia worked on the building. The best to make sure that they would not build an equally beautiful building again. As many as 45 different games were used for Mumtaz tomb alone. Semi-precious stones are inlaid in the marble and beautiful patterns using a process known as perita dura. The precision and care which went into Taj Mahal's design and construction are just as impressive whether you view it from across the look for main stunning example of Rajput artistry with its pink, deliberately honeycombed sandstone windows. It was originally built to enable the ladies of the royal household to watch everyday life and processions in the city. The Harisala temples at Halbedu in Belur in Karnataka along with the Somnathpur are examples of rich in cultural development. Their sculptural decoration that Khajuraho and Konark or the best. The Channakeshwara temple in Belur was 1116 and was worked on for over a century. The work of an upper wall is unparalleled in detail and artistry. The temple's 14th century 7-story Gopuram has beautiful sculpture of dancing girls. The Hoysalaleshwara temple at Salibetu was begun in 1100 was never completed. Nevertheless, every inch of the outside walls and much of the interior is covered with an endless variety of Hindu deities, sages, animals and birds, and the life of the Tawan Gompa is in western Arunachal Pradesh, close to Bhutan, dating from the mid-7th century. This is the most important monastery in northeast India. The 6th Dalai Lama was born here. It was an interesting collection of Thangkas Tibetan paintings on cloth and a large gilded statue of Shakyamuni. Onakoti is 180 km north of Agartala in Tripura. Impressively large rock-cut images of Shiva and Ganesh are set in the hills. There are many other sculptures sculpted about. Ankoti means one less than a crore. Legend has it 99,99,999 images in one single day. At Natian near Javai in Meghalaya lie the remains of the ancient capital of the Jainta kingdom. There are hundreds of monoliths here, as still as 8. Majuli in Assam is the world's largest river island. It is interesting for Vaishnavit monuments that also function as center of Assamese art in by Assamese poet, composer and philosopher Shankar Deva. Tanjavur in Tamil Nadu was built by Raja Raja in 1010. It is the growing glory of Kora temple architecture. This is a superb and fascinating monument. The dam is constructed from a single piece of granite weighing about 80 tons. It was put into place along a 4 km earthwork ramp in a way similar to that used of the Egyptian pyramids. Tour over the temple at it was built in the 10th century. The sectors and completed 7 concentric vault sections and 21 group rounds. It is probably the largest in India. The short temple at Mamallapuram near Chennai was originally built in the 7th century, a huge 3 meters by 12 meters. carving on the face of a rock shows animals, dating and other semi-divine creatures as well as fables from the Panchatantra books. It is not realistic god. Amritsar was founded in 1577 by the fourth Guru of the Sikhs, the Golden or Hari stands on the middle of the Sikh. The Amrit Sarovar of it is two-story marble structure. The lower parts of the wall are decorated with inlaid flowers and animals. The Pita Durga style of the Taj Mahal. The dome is said to be gilded with 100 kg of pure gold and represented a lotus upside down. Emperor Ashoka built the first Mahabodhi temple at Bodh Gaya in the 3rd century BC. The current temple is the 15 meters pyramid. The ornate structure houses a large guided image of the Buddha. The stone railings around the temples are considered to be formed by 9 kilometers east of Panaji is Old Goa. There are half a dozen churches and cathedrals here. Among the largest in Asia, the cathedral was begun in 1562 and completed in 1619. The building style of Portuguese Gothic with a Tuscan and Corinthian interior. The Church of St. Francis contains gilded and carved woodwork, paintings of saints from the life of carved gravestone bearing family, cost of arms dating back to the early 16th century. The Basilica of Tom Jesus was started in 1594 and completed in 16. With the rest of the interior left in great simplicity, the tomb of St. Francis took 10 years to complete. The silver casket which contains the remains of the saint was at one time covered in jewels. These are only a few examples from the enormously rich architectural heritage of our motherland. Scattered all over the country are beautiful ancient monuments that bear witness of the technical skills and artistic gravity of our ancestors. They are important elements that help define our identity. Our inspire us towards an even more glorious future. Some of those structures are so beautiful and historically important that they cannot be considered merely the property of Indians. They represent the achievement of the entire human race. Hence, the UNESCO has listed them as World Heritage Sites. A visit to some of our monuments can be a very enriching and at the same time a painful experience. It could enrich us because we see the greatness achieved by our ancestors. It could be very humiliating to see the disgraceful way to treat these sacred places. They are sacred not only because many of them are places to worship, but they are the great work ancestors. We would certainly be angry with someone who destroys a beautiful painting done by our father or mother. These monuments are the creation of our parents from more remote periods in history. Government, they are ours. They are our pride. We ought to love and respect them. we ought to take care of them. It is very sad that people have scratched their names on the walls of those monuments. Visitors throw paper, plastics, or other waste around them. In some places, people use the corners of these structures to spite or to relieve their physical needs. Some occupy the area in and around these buildings to set up shops or houses. Hawkers assist visitors. There are even thieves that rob the people. Our hackers created these beautiful things so long ago without so many uptime machine tools and technology we have today. We saw ourselves less civilized than they were when we are not able to be proud of them. They built with so much love. Exercise 1. Answer the following questions. A. Describe the Taj Mahal in brief. B. Write briefly about the Hawa Mahal. C. What do you know about the Temple of Helbeju and Belur? D. Mention a few of the monuments in Northeast India. E. Describe the Golden Temple in Amritsar. F. What do you know about the temple at Bodh Gaya? G. Write briefly about World has included some Indian monuments in its list of World Heritage Sites. How can we show greater pride in and respect for our agricultural heritage? 2. Discuss. Should we save the money for our homeless people? 3. Something to do. Learn more about the sites of historical importance in your state and in India as a whole. Something to think about. Disrespect for my heritage is disrespect towards myself and who I am. Something to memorize. Architecture is the printing press of all else and gives a history of the state of the society in which the structures were created. For ethnic music, these tales. Chapter 11. The Media. One of the greatest blessings of the modern age is the media. We generally refer to it as the mass media. It reaches out even the one and the remotest corner of the earth, since a lot of the electronic media comes through the air, direct from broadcasting stations to our radio and television sets. No one is exalted from contact with any part of the world. On 11th September 2001, when the first aeroplane crashed into one of the twin towers of the World Trade Center, the news flashed across the world in seconds. People all over the world switched their channels and stampeded to their chairs. Hundreds of millions, perhaps a couple of billion people watched live as the next plane crashed into the second tower. There were 11 more people to witness the two felt every bit of the horror of the event almost as much as the people in New York who were physically close to ground zero. They instantly heard every signal, every single rumor that frightened the New Yorkers, the talk of other planes hijacked of there to the White House, the Capitol, etc. The whole human race was watching with different emotions, events that were accompanied by other emotions
scores at our events like the Olympic Games or the World Cup football. If the mass media, if the mass media had been properly used when the yeah, the mass media has converted the whole earth into one little village. We call it the global village. We can get information about people and events in any corner of the world. We are the best informed people in the history of the universe. We have immense possibilities of learning and studying without attending any institution of learning, merely by knowing how to use the media to the best. We can send out to millions of people that high principles. The media can also be a threat to us. We could get drowned in a media flood. We have scores of channels on our television to choose from. There are specialized magazines on almost any topics under the sun. A search of a couple of seconds will yield thousands of sites on the internet or any subject at all. It is not so easy to know what to choose from all those sources of knowledge. Not everyone knows how to recognize the information available and avoid being paralyzed by the oversupply of possibilities. The media brings into the variety of our very bedrooms abundance of fire, murder, rape, property, epidemics, famine, floods, earthquakes, fires, tsunamis, etc. Here we are exposed to so much violence right from our childhood that we become insensitive to suffering, pain, and suffering. The media has deadened our feelings, emotions, and sentiments. There is also too much of sex in the media. We are constantly being counseled by parents and teachers about the dangers of experimenting with sex too early in life. On the other hand, television, newspapers, and magazines arouse our sexual feelings at our age, when we are still struggling with the rapid change taking place in our body, mind, emotions, and spirit. The media is not and growing up based on healthy personalities. The technique and possibilities of the media are so advanced that it is difficult for us to distinguish between fact and fiction, truth and falsehood, imagination and reality. It is almost impossible for us to successfully by the media unless we are very careful about the choice we make in our use of it. Manipulation. Among the most popular program on the television are the serials. They are written in such a way that we get addicted to them. Once we start watching them, we feel almost compelled to watch them again the next time. Each episode ends as though something important is going to take place in the next. These serials go on week after week, month after month. Wide student. Students start watching a serial during their holidays, but they cannot stop doing so when the school reopens and perhaps even during their examinations. The media is also very effectively to make us buy things we do not actually need. They make us unhappy with the way we are so that we buy their products and they can be happy with our money. The tendency to imitate what we see on television is very strong. That is the reason why the government has forbidden actors to smoke in films. In August 2006, a boy in Tamil Nadu saw the house of his cartoon hero catch fire. He put his more than one has jumped out of the thinking they could fly like Superman. Some people did before they are mature enough for it. They forget that the of teenagers in American films is only acting. And what's the day-to-day reality of most children in the West is quite different from what is shown on television. We can become critical in our use of the media. We need to study the media to understand how it tries to manipulate us. We plan how to profit from it to the maximum benefits of our education, work, and happiness. We make a routine and decide exactly how long we will watch television. We discuss with our parents or teachers being manipulated by the media to violence, to risky sexual behavior, and to feeling sorry for ourselves become if we do not have some of the products advertised in it. Exercise 1. Answer the following questions. A. Why do we village? B. What are some of the benefits of the mass media? C. What are some of the dangers of the mass media? D. What do advertisers use the media for? E. Is all we see on television true or reality? Yes. How can we improve our use of the media? To discuss. It is better to be ignorant or ill-informed than to be manipulated by the media. Okay. Something to do. A. Let each student choose one film to watch carefully. Count how many scenes of violence they are paid to sex necessarily. Schedule and fight. Go carefully through all elements in a magazine and see how many times sexual elements are brought into them. So, something to think about. Most magazines, newspaper, television programs, and films have the intention of making as much money as possible. They tempt us to them through images of sex and violence. I have to be careful not to fall into their trap. Right, something to memorize. Newspapers are the schoolmasters of the common folk. Henry Ward Beecher. Newspapers are world mirrors. James Eliot. The singing competition. Oh, miss, my voice is like that of a frog. That evening, Preeti told her family, I have entered the singing competition at school. Said her elder brother. Singing. Preeti was discouraged and wanted to drop out of the competition. When we speak badly about ourselves, we usually do not mean it. We are only looking for more praise. When someone else says something negative about us that we ourselves have often said, we get angry and discouraged by the criticism. Preeti forgot that criticism is often the result of the envy of others. As Rabindranath Tagore's poem became more and more popular, many of his colleagues matriculation examinations of Kolkata just set a question asking students to rewrite a character in good Bengal. When it comes to us from people
are envious of us as us. Critical comments are often not based on facts. They have their roots in the imagination of people rather than in us. Some of it is because people are afraid of anything new or different. Victor Heiser was the health commissioner in Manila in the Philippines. His department decided to install a new chlorination system to supply safe drinking water to the city. His office announced that the system would be a month. Even the newspaper started writing about the unusuality of the new chlorination process. After 2 weeks, Heiser gave an interview to the press. He revealed that unfortunately there had been a problem in installing the machinery and they had started using the new equipment only on the 20th of the month. For 10 days, people had been criticizing something new that had not even been in use yet. The more successful a person, the more likely he is being criticized. That bear fruit. In Gaon, Barefoot in China was arrested on trial in July 2006 because he successfully for their corrupt and illegal practices. He would have been left undisturbed. He would have been left undisturbed had he not been so successful. When Benjamin Franklin was criticized, he followed his policy. I generally pass over all the criticism in silence. If they are just, I need to amend myself, not defend myself. If they are undeserved, a little time will justify me. That is thrown at me frequently. If I try to I will actually spread it. I just wait a little. I will dry up and fall off. When we are sure of ourselves, it would be and making amends. One of Michelangelo's greatest works of sculpture is a statue of David. When the Count of Florence, who had placed the order for this statue, saw it, he said, "The statue looks alright, but don't you think the nose is a little too big?" Michelangelo replied, "Yes, indeed. I had not noticed it." As he bent down to pick up his chisel, unseen by the Count, he placed on the thing around and gave a seamless tap on his easel with his at the same time, he let a little of the marble dust on his hand fall to the ground. When he came down again, his critic remarked, now it looks just right. A lot of criticism we get is actually well intended. Our parents, teachers, and other elders are really interested in our welfare and
want the very best for us. It is, of course, possible that they are mistakenly influenced by their own experiences. What they but yes, are good. Hence, we need to give serious thought of even if we do not finally act according to them, we would be the losers if we were to reject all their criticism out of hand. It is always best to inquire whether the criticism we receive is justified or not. Once, when Abraham Lincoln ordered the transfer of certain regiments, his Secretary of War, Stanton, refused to carry out the order, saying Lincoln is a fool. When the matter was reported to Lincoln, he said, "If Stanton said that I am right, let me go and see him." Lincoln met Stanton, who explained to him that the order he had given would damage their work. Lincoln immediately withdrew his order. A factor that contributed tremendously to Abraham Lincoln's growth to greatness was that he was not oversensitive to the opinion of others about him. He welcomed criticism, reflected on it, learned from it, and grew. The ability to profit from criticism is essential to anyone who wishes to grow fast and accomplish great things in life. Whether the criticism that comes our way is justified or not, whether we accept it or not, we should maintain our calm and present smiling face. Hurled abuses at the Buddha, he smiled and asked, "Suppose I give a gift to someone and he refused to accept my gift. To whom would it belong? To you, of course." If I am not interested in accepting this wonderful gift of yours, your criticism of me, it remains with you. All that we have said about other people's criticism of us is equally true of our criticism of others. When we see faults in others and want to criticize them, it is good to stop for a moment and ask ourselves whether we are envious, whether our criticism is justified, and whether our real intention is to help them improve and grow. It is also our own biggest failures. This phenomenon is called we project on to others what we like the least about ourselves and then criticize them for it. Hence, good to reflect whether we ourselves do not have the same weakness. It is also true of human nature that we generally notice the mistakes of others more than their good deeds. Joyson was always complaining to his mother about his classmate Premjit. Finally, his mother decided to help him reflect a little and learn a lesson for himself. She took out the balance that she used to weight vegetables in the kitchen. She asked Joyson to mention one of the faults. He said, "Joyson, all right, place a pebble in this left pan on the balance. Does Pranjit now allow you to ride his bike?" "Yes." "Place a pebble in the pan of the right."
He told me a lie yesterday, a pebble on the left. He invited me to play with him last Sunday, a pebble on the right. This went on till soon enough the faults of friendship had run out, whereas there were quite a number of acts of friendship yet to be mentioned. Gradually, the pawn of the right kept sinking, and Joyson had to admit that he had a truly good friend in Ranjit. He ought to be appreciating him more than criticizing him. We listen carefully. Great tool for our exercise. 1. Answer the following questions. A. Give some reasons why people criticize others. B. Is it true that we see many faults only because of our envy, prejudice, imagination, and attitudes? Give an example. C. Why are successful people criticized more than others? D. How did Benjamin Franklin deal with criticism? E. What strategy did Michelangelo use when of David was criticized? A. What contributed greatly to the growth of Abraham Lincoln to greatness? Why? How did the Buddha deal with criticism? I. What is projection? J. Explain one tendency of human nature when we look at people. It is best never to give advice to anyone at all. 3. Something to do. A. Think of the person you criticize the most frequently. Make a list of all the bad you see in him. See which of these first for yourself have. Make a list of all the good things you see in this person. B. Think of the person who criticizes you the most frequently. Make a list of all the reasons why he does this to you. Decide how to deal with his criticism of you. 4. Something to discourage me. I allow it to discourage me. Or so that I can grow. 5. Something to him. Nothing would be done at all if a man waited if the only way I can make myself look good is to criticize you, something is seriously wrong with me. Warren W. Westbell. The horse one cannot have has every fault. Paris proverb. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, or you will be criticized anyway. Eleanor Roosevelt. A leader is easy to recognize. He is the condemn and complain, and most fools do. Better Chapter 30. Becoming an adult. The goal is to change. Life is a young people like us, our parents who are adults and our grandparents who are older still. All of us came into existence as little babies, and hopefully we will live long enough to grow up into respectable and respected elders. As little babies, we live about 9 months in the womb of our mother. We are, in one sense, a part of our mother. Even after we are born, for the first short period of our life on our own, we still feel as the same person. Gradually, we learn that we are separate from our mother, but as a baby, we think that our and all the other people around us exist on serve us, look after us, and see to our needs. That aim to be. We want their complete love and attention all the time. This is why we become jealous when we are a little older and a younger brother or sister is born. When parents start caring for the fresh baby, we do not like the attention shifting from us. Some children pinch or beat their younger sibling, from propose to their parents to send the baby back to the hospital. At the age we find it difficult to share our parents or our toys with anyone else, we feel that we are the important person in the family. Going to school for the first time comes as a shock of most of us. We become just one child among dozens of others. We are not the soul of the most important person in the class. We are not made to feel very special. We have to share with our classmates. We learn to enjoy the pleasure of playing with others as well as to make sacrifices for their sake. We learn to make friends, to adjust to them when necessary, and to cooperate with them in the activities at school. Growth is frightening. Being born was a sudden big chance for all. Safe. We are warm, we are never confused. Once we were born, we were exposed to the cold, hungry, cold or wet. We this known to our parents by crying. But if we were not born, if we continued to remain in our mother's womb, we would soon have died. Being born made us feel less safe and comfortable in some ways, but it gave us the possibility to live and grow further. At the next big chance, we left the safety of our home and faced the dangerous-looking crowds at the school. We left the company of our very loving parents and mixed with teachers and other students who were strangers. Dependent on us. At your age, you are once again going through a period of rapid growth and change. You are becoming taller. Things are happening in your body that did not happen earlier. You have thoughts, feelings, and imaginations which you never used to have before. At times, you feel afraid of this change. At other times, you feel there is something wrong with yourself. You may even feel guilty and ashamed. Sometimes you feel enthusiastic and full of energy, and at other angry or lonely, and you do not know why. Sometimes you feel yourself to be ugly and unattractive. At times you are curious. At times you feel thrilled, and sometimes you feel guilty. Often
You feel just unable to control all these feelings and the swing in your mood. You have all these experiences because you are growing fast these days and transforming yourself from a boy or a girl into a man or a woman. You are becoming an adult, a grown-up person. You are getting taller and stronger. Your voice changes. There is growth of body here. Several new hormones are entering into your blood and changing everything about your body. Physically speaking, you will soon you will be studying about these physical changes in your biology class. If you need further information about them that is not given in your biology class, you would do well to talk to your parents or to some reliable and trust having the body of a grown-up. What is of greater importance is to have a more mature mind and spirit. Some young people think that they will be considered grown up if they drive a vehicle. Others think that being disrespectful to parents, teachers, or other elders will convince them and their friends that they are no longer kids. Some may even imagine that they are truly men of the world. Some boys feel that teasing girls is a sure way of how fully they are. Short of behavior by some of their peers and laugh at them behind kids who lack self-confidence. They need to look rough and tough because they do not actually have the internal qualities that make a truly mature adult. What does it mean to be an adult? An adult is one who is able to take the right decisions for himself and for those younger to him. We see children held by their hands, guided across the road, etc. because they do not know yet what is right and wrong, safe and dangerous. An adult knows upon self-telling to do so. An adult takes responsibility for his lies about what they did or did not do, afraid of the result for their instead make their failures and do whatever is needed to remedy the bad consequences of their weaknesses. An adult is reliable. If a child is given a task, he needs to be checked on repeatedly. He needs to be reminded of it and helped to complete it. Instead, if we entrust a task to a true adult, we can be certain that it will be completed on time and to the best of that person's ability with no further supervision. Needs to be cared for by others. And that done nothing of the needs of others and finds it difficult to share with others. They make sacrifices if necessary to bring joy into the lives of others. They are able to compromise, to give and take, to adjust themselves to the convenience of others. True friendship is possible between two adults because both of them are capable of looking not only at their own needs and likings, but also at those of the others. You are at an age between childhood and adulthood. At times, you feel like a child and adult and want to be treated with as with a grown up. Talk about your thoughts, feelings, and experiences with your parents, a teacher, or some adult whom you trust. They will be able to help you immensely. Answer the following questions. A. Why are young children at times jealous of their baby brother or sister? B. Why was being born a big change in our life? C. Why was starting up schooling a big chance, a big change in our life? A. Why do you experience now something you never experienced before? A. What are a few of the false ways of showing that someone is grown up? Yes. Explain at least three. Youngsters are used some false method of showing themselves adults only because if they don't, their elders never show them any respect. Something to do. Okay. Make a list of all the activities of a day in the life of an adult. In what ways do they differ? B. Make a list of all behavior that we tolerate from a child but not from an adult. So, something to think about. A. In order to be a truly grown-up person, the changes in my mind and my character are even more important than the changes in my body. What improvements do I need to make in my thinking and behavior? B. All growth is painful, but every step forward opens up for me many few possibilities. I come into moment. He who cares only for himself in youth will be a very neutral in good and a wretched miser in old age is a house. In the morning, unworn and tender, when the whole man is awake in every part and the gloss of novelty is fresh upon all the objects that surround us, how lively at that time are our sensations, but how false and inaccurate the judgment we form of things. Work.
Chapter 14. Happy Holidays. Your exam will soon be over. Happy holidays. You deserve rest. Step on your feet. Say, go on. Do whatever gives you true pleasure. Doing nothing can be dangerous. Idle mind is due to between 9 and 13 were arrested in Delhi. They had begun committing burglaries as soon as summer vacation for school had started. Have you ever made a list of all that you really enjoy doing? Hopefully, learning features in that first. It is not wrong to enjoy studying. Holidays give you time for doing what you really enjoy doing. It is hobby time. Doing it. What is work for some people could very well be a hobby for others. Many great people had carpentry as their hobby. They enjoyed marking. Simple furniture for themselves and for other friends, and physical exercise it gave them was a good change from their normal desk work. Catch up on your hobby this holidays. If you don't have one, why don't you start one this year? What hobbies could you start? Collection. A very good hobby is that of making collections. People like collecting postage stamps, coins, paper cutting, labels, flowers, picture postcards, sketches, famous people, autographs, books, photos, paintings, etc. You will collect almost anything you are interested in and have spare of. You could even collect matchbox labels or plate covers. I had in 2004 63 different hobbies, most of them collections. If you have enough money, you could mount a display your collections professionally and using equipment available in shop. If you cannot afford that, you can always make your own equipment from cheap material around you. To avoid the maximum pleasure of your collections, do not just mechanically put things together. Read about your hobby. Learn as much as you can about it. Join a club or form one of people who collect the same item as you do. Show your collection to your friends and relatives and share your pleasure with them. Join exhibitions and competitions to display. Doing anything at all can be a hobby too. If you get pleasure out of it one day or another, something you do for fun could even turn out to be your main employment and source of income. K. Shukumar of Imphal in Manipur enjoyed making gadgets with bamboos while a scout in school. He found this experience immensely useful when he joined the National Institute of Design. Even now, he earns his money designing things with bamboo and can. Nipendra Mohan childhood hobby with a full-time business employing 20 workers today. Gardening is a popular hobby with people who spend most of their time indoors and at their desks. It is a pleasure to make things grow. Practice budding and grafting. You may have learned about these techniques at school. This is the time to study it in practice. You could, for instance, grow different varieties of mangoes on a single tree. Joy Chandragantapalli in Kerala had 12 varieties of mangoes on a single tree. Cartoon plants are easy to graft. They are also beautiful to look at since their leaves differ from variety to variety in shape, size, and color. This is someone who has gifted cotton, even sort of cotton for each of the states of India. He even shaped this plant to look like the map of India. There are other specialties that add to the fun of gardening. You might have read about Moir Nagatan Oken of Manipur who got into the Guinness Book of Records, growing a potato plant to 61 feet strength into the sky. He has made a metal circular frame to surround it and support it, and needs a really good ladder to care for his plant. You will have seen in pranks and in front of expensive hotel plants that have been shaped to look like animals or birds. You might properties. Some keep out snakes, others repel insects. Many plants are medicinal. Some plants are medicinal, etc. Cooking can be a very interesting hobby. Learn to look ethnic dishes. Your own mom or someone else in the family may be happy to teach you, or you could try your skills at following recipes in books, magazines, and newspapers. Prepare new and exotic dishes. And remember, this hobby is not restricted for this hobby is not restricted to girls alone. Learning is pleasure. Perhaps most of the learning you have done so far has been at school. Since that is taken as a task, you see it more as a burden than a pleasure. That is a pity. Of learning something that you are really interested in. It could be what you want to learn, a new game, whether an outdoor active sport or a more quiet indoor board game. You could learn something. You will then make new greeting cards, innovations, etc. You could even print on t-shirts. Book binding is an interesting hobby. You may start by binding your comic book together, but once your skill improves, you could do beautiful leather binding of your family's scriptures and other books of value. Here are some other things you could enjoy making: flowers, flower vases, decorative candles, lampshades, toys, home decorations, etc. You may find pleasure in learning to do embroidery, knitting, weaving, makeup, hairstyling, typing, tailoring, etc. Learn a new language. Research in Washington that the more languages you speak, the less your brain ages. If you have a mechanical bent, there is no end to the possibilities you have. You could learn to repair watches or motorcycles, radios or television sets, air conditioners or refrigerators. You could learn motor welding, soldering. Most workshops would be happy to have a free apprentice for a month or two. In the meantime, you would be learning by doing. Learning any of these skills is not seek full-time employment in this sector, but you can be truly proud of having the skill. A hobby need not necessarily be useful, though hopeful. You will find something you enjoy doing. A student and now produces albums with religious and moral values. It is not his profession. It is only a hobby. I work in public health center for a living, he says. Information technology is the rage today. If you do not know anything about it at all, this could be your chance to make yourself computer literate. If you have already learned something at school, you could attend courses to learn things on your own, designing a website, manipulation of photos, digital printing, desktop publishing, doing layouts, writing a program for keeping the accounts of your family or data on what you read or study, etc. Reading is a wonderful hobby. It will into a truly learned person. Join a library or borrow books from your relatives and friends. If you are a lover of nature, you could go for long walks, learn mountain climbing and rock climbing, canoeing and swimming, fishing and bird watching, hiking and trekking. orienteering and pioneering, map reading and counter map making, knotting and lashing, camping and adventuring. The arts, photography. Good hobby, but an expensive one. Try your hand at painting, sketching, cartooning, caricaturing, painting, clay modeling, sculpture, graving, etc. Music in all its forms, singing, playing a musical instrument, even form a group of band with your friends and practice together. Dramatics is another creative area. Practices mono acting and mimicry. Form a club and put up a one-act play. Dancing is also enjoyable. Learn a classical dance, folk dance, and social dances from various cultures of the world. Try public speaking. Write speeches on current issues and deliver them before your family and friends. Have you experienced newspaper or magazine? There are magazines and newspapers with special sections for children or youth. Try writing for them stories, poems, essays, jokes, letters to the editors, etc. Social service. You could your holidays and volunteer your service at hospitals, old age homes, or orphans, homes for still children, the destitute, the physically or mentally challenged, refugee camps or slums. Learn first aid. Follow up on your studies. There is a story of a mother who was complaining to the father, and during vacation, no matter where she hid her money, their son always found it and stole some of it while the two of them were away at work. The father had a very good solution. His textbooks during the interrogation. You are certainly tried to your textbook and homework, tests and examinations. Tired of. It is understandable that you would not want to have any with your studies for the entire period of your holidays. Find to look at things that you found difficult during the past years. Get as early as possible the books you have to study in class 9 and look through them. If you are really weak in a subject, consider seriously an hour of coaching each day. Build a relationship. This is the time to catch up on your relationship with yourself, your family and friends, and with God. Find time for silence. Learn to and to a vipassana. Spend time with those who are dear to you. Find time for prayer. Any day that you have not learned anything new is a day lost. Grow at least exercise. Answer the following questions. What is a hobby? What is your hobby? How do you practice it? What do you enjoy learning to do? What could be the hobbies of a nature lover? What are some of the possible hobbies in the arts? Yes. Can holidays be used for some social service? Give examples. Should studies be totally avoided during holidays? Yes. How can we use our holidays to build our relationships? To discuss. During holidays, to anything that we are obliged to do during the school year. Something to do. Make a plan of all that you would like to do during the coming long holidays. 4. Something to think about. I will really develop when I find pleasure in rapidly. something to memorize. A poor life is this if full of care. We have not time to stand and stare. William Henry Davis. He does not seem to me to be a free man who does not sometimes do nothing. Cicero. Absence of occupation is not first. A mind quite vacant is a mind distressed. William Cowper. Every noble activity makes room for itself. Emerson. Lessons for Lincoln. Republic. Read by Hassan Jamal Malik. 25th February 2005. 25th